My fiancée told me she needed space right before our wedding, so I gave it to her by selling the rings, canceling the venue, taking my honeymoon solo, and posting pictures of me in paradise while she sat alone in our empty apartment. So, I'm the guy who was supposed to get married last June. The guy who planned every little detail, who counted down the days, who thought he had it all figured out. The guy who thought he knew the woman he was marrying inside and out. And then she sat me down and told me she needed space 2 weeks before our wedding. This story still feels unreal to me, like a movie I watched too many times but still can't believe. But it happened. All of it. I'm not writing this for revenge. I'm not writing it for pity either. I think I'm just writing it because I'm still angry and confused, and maybe someone out there has been through something similar. I met Sarah 5 years ago in Chicago at my buddy Nate's housewarming party. It was a typical Lincoln Park get-together, too much beer, someone playing 2000s hits on Bluetooth, a kitchen full of people who didn't want to admit they were over 30. I was near the fridge grabbing another beer when she bumped into me and spilled her wine on my shirt. She apologized about 20 times in 60 seconds. I laughed. She laughed. She offered to buy me a drink. I told her it was fine. We ended up talking all night on Nate's patio. She was smart, sarcastic, beautiful, and had this energy that made everything around her feel less boring. After that night, we started seeing each other, texting constantly, grabbing dinner, talking for hours about anything and everything. I fell for her faster than I should have, but it didn't feel wrong. I thought I'd finally found someone who saw me, really saw me. Fast forward 3 years. Things were good. We moved in together into a 2-bedroom apartment in Lincoln Park with exposed brick walls and way too much IKEA furniture. We split bills, cooked dinners together, argued over whose turn it was to walk her sister's dog when we babysat it, and binge-watched crime documentaries like every other couple on the planet. We had our problems like everyone else. She could be distant sometimes. I could be a bit of a control freak. But we worked through things. I thought we were solid. One night, we were walking back from a Cubs game, and I knew I wanted to marry her. It wasn't anything grand. She was laughing at something dumb I said, holding my hand, wearing my hoodie, and I just thought, yeah, this is it. A few weeks later, I proposed at Millennium Park, right by the Bean. Super cliché, I know, but it felt right. She cried. She said yes. She told her family. I told mine. People cried. We popped champagne. It was one of those moments that stays in your head like a loop. We picked a date a year out. June 15th, 2024. We booked this beautiful venue with a rooftop overlooking Lake Michigan. We hired a photographer who charged way too much but promised timeless memories. I didn't even blink at the price. We picked out flowers, argued about tablecloth colors, debated whether we should serve filet or salmon. The whole 9 yards. My parents were helping out. Hers too. Everyone was on board. The invites went out. RSVPs started rolling in. The wedding was real, and it was happening. Until it wasn't. It started about a month before the wedding. She seemed off. I chalked it up to stress. We were doing final fittings, going over guest lists, meeting with the planner every other day. She wasn't sleeping well. She started working late more often. I'd wake up and she'd already be gone. I asked if everything was okay. She said yeah, just tired. I didn't push. Maybe I should have. Then, 2 weeks before the wedding, we were sitting in our apartment. It was a Wednesday night. I remember because I had just reheated leftover pasta and turned on the Bulls game. She came out of the bedroom, sat on the couch, and said she needed to talk. Her voice was soft, like she was afraid to be heard. I paused the game and looked at her. What's up? She took a breath. I think I need some space. I laughed at first, thinking she was joking. Space? What, like a spa weekend? No, she said. I mean real space. I need time to think. I'm not sure I'm ready for this. I stared at her. You're not sure? The wedding's in 2 weeks, Sarah. What the hell are you talking about? She looked away. I don't know. I feel trapped. Like everything's happening too fast. It felt like a slow-motion car crash. I was trying to process the words, but nothing was clicking. I asked her if there was someone else. She said no. I asked if she didn't love me. She said she did. She just needed time. I didn't sleep that night. I lay on the couch staring at the ceiling while she slept in our bed, or pretended to. The next morning, she was gone before I got up. No note. No text. Just gone. I went to work like a zombie. Everyone asked if I was okay. I said I was tired. They believed me. Over the next few days, we barely spoke. She texted once to say she'd be staying with her sister for a bit. I didn't reply. I just sat in our half-packed apartment looking at our wedding invitations and wondering how everything went from perfect to silence. Then I made a decision. She wanted space. Fine. I'd give her space. I called the venue. Canceled everything. Lost the deposit. I didn't even care. I called the jeweler and sold the engagement ring and wedding bands. The guy behind the counter gave me this look like he wanted to say something, but didn't. I walked out with a check and no emotion. I called the travel agency. Changed the honeymoon reservation to a solo traveler. Upgraded my seat. Said it was a personal trip. I didn't tell anyone at first. I needed the noise to stop. My phone kept buzzing with "can't wait for the big day" texts. I ignored them all. I didn't even tell my parents until I was on the plane. Then I flew to Maui. First thing I did when I landed? Took a selfie on the beach. Posted it. Captioned, Sometimes paradise is better solo. She saw it. I know because she liked the post. Then she unliked it an hour later. I spent a week in Maui doing everything we planned to do together. Snorkeling, hiking, watching the sunset on a catamaran cruise. I sat at candlelit dinners by myself. The servers gave me pity glances. I didn't care. I posted pictures every day, each one more perfect than the last. And back in Chicago, she was sitting alone in our empty apartment. I know because I had the ring cam still set up. I watched her come and go. Sometimes she'd stand in the living room and just look around. Once, she picked up the wedding photo we took for the invites and held it for a long time. I watched her cry. I didn't feel bad. Not even a little. So I got back from Maui with a tan, a suitcase full of souvenirs I didn't buy for anyone, and a head full of thoughts I couldn't quiet. My phone was full of missed calls, texts, voicemails. Sarah had tried reaching out while I was gone. I didn't answer any of them. I didn't want to hear what she had to say. She wanted space. I gave her the whole ocean. I got off the plane and took a cab straight to my buddy Greg's place in Wicker Park. He'd offered to let me crash while I figured things out. I didn't want to go back to that apartment. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I needed time, and more than that, I needed peace. That lasted all of 3 days. On the third morning, I was sitting on Greg's couch drinking bad coffee and scrolling through my emails when I saw her name pop up. Not just in my inbox. This was different. A notification from Venmo. Sarah paid you $4.97. Note. For your cheap-ass wine bottle. It was like she knew I was finally calm and had to throw a match on the gasoline. I stared at the screen for a good minute before laughing out loud. Not because it was funny, but because it was insane. I ignored it. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. Sarah, we need to talk. I typed back, no, we don't. Sarah, you're acting like a child. I didn't respond. I didn't have to. A few hours later, Greg came back from work holding a small box. Said it was outside the door. It was the photo of us in the wedding attire from the invite shoot. Torn straight down the middle. My side missing. Hers scribbled over with what looked like red pen. It wasn't even subtle. It was messy, angry. The kind of thing someone does when they're spiraling. That's when I realized she wasn't just sad or confused. She was pissed. And she was blaming me. Then the calls to my family started. My mom called me crying. Sarah had reached out. Said she felt abandoned, that I lashed out. Canceled the wedding without telling her. Said I humiliated her. Made her look like the bad guy. My mom, bless her heart, tried to stay neutral, but I could hear the doubt in her voice. You didn't really just cancel everything, did you? She asked. I did what I had to do, Mom. But without talking to her? She wanted space. That was my answer for everything. But it didn't fix the looks I got from my aunt who had flown in early for the wedding. Or the awkward messages from old friends. People started picking sides in Sarah? She played her side well. Then came the twist. One night, Greg and I were out at this bar in Logan Square. Just some casual beers, trying to unwind. He spotted her first. Sarah. Sitting at the bar with a guy. Tall, tan, good hair. Way too comfortable with her for someone who was just a friend. His hand was on her lower back. She laughed at something he whispered in her ear. She didn't see me. I snapped a photo and walked out. I didn't confront her. Didn't want to cause a scene. But I sent her the photo. Me. Found your space. She responded instantly. Sarah, that's not what it looks like. Me. Don't insult my brain, Sarah. She called me. I didn't answer. She texted again. Sarah, his name is Leo. He's a friend from work. I just needed someone to talk to. Me. Funny how your shoulders are his favorite topic. She stopped replying after that. And I thought it was over. But it wasn't. 2 days later, she showed up at Greg's apartment. I was out getting groceries. She cornered him, asking to talk to me. Said she missed me. Said she made a mistake. She even told Greg she wanted to try again. That I was the one. That she just panicked. Greg didn't know what to say. He told her to leave. She didn't. She cried on his couch. Told him she couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. That I was cruel. When I got back and found her sitting there, my gut twisted. She stood up, eyes red. I didn't cheat, she said before I even opened my mouth. I swear. I just didn't know how to handle the pressure. I looked at her for a long time. She looked like a shadow of herself. Hair unwashed, face tired, voice shaky. But I didn't say anything. She walked closer. We can fix this. I shook my head. We can't fix a foundation that cracked before the wedding even happened. You're still wearing the bracelet I got you, she whispered. I looked down at my wrist. It was true. I hadn't noticed. I took it off slowly, placed it on the coffee table, and walked into the bedroom. I didn't sleep that night either. Because somewhere deep down, I still didn't know the whole story. And that bothered me more than anything. The next morning, I woke up to silence. Greg had gone to work, and Sarah was gone too. I thought maybe she'd finally accepted that this was over. I thought maybe the drama had ended. I was wrong. When I checked my phone, there were 10 missed calls. All from unknown numbers. I had voicemails too. The first was from my HR department. They said they'd received a formal concern from someone claiming I had emotionally manipulated and retaliated against a vulnerable woman and that I had created a hostile digital environment. The second voicemail was from one of my vendors, the photographer we canceled. He told me someone called pretending to be me, trying to rebook the wedding with a new date and different bride. And the third one? From a private number. A man's voice. Hey, just wanted you to know, your girl's been lying to both of us. She told me you cheated on her. She said she was a victim. But last night, she confessed everything. You didn't deserve any of this, man. I'm sorry. My name's Leo. My blood went cold. I sat on the edge of Greg's couch, staring at my phone like it was going to explode. I didn't know whether to be angry, numb, or impressed by how deep her lies went. She was trying to make herself the victim in a story she wrote herself. And now strangers were involved. My job was involved. My name. I called HR back. Told them everything. The canceled wedding. The sudden space she needed. The trip. The texts. They said they'd document my side and keep me updated. I could hear the skepticism in their voices, though. All it takes is one wrong move these days to ruin everything you've built. Then, I called the photographer. He confirmed it was a woman pretending to be me, asking for the new bride to be edited in using old couple photos as a reference. I told him to block the number and to ignore anything else that came in. And Leo? I texted him back. Me, appreciate the heads up. Didn't know she told you I cheated. Leo, yeah. She said you left her at the altar. Said you were abusive. That she needed therapy because of you. Me, she really said all that? Leo. Yeah, man. She cried. Told me you had some breakdown. Then last night she broke down and said none of it was true. Me, how long have you been seeing her? Leo, since about 2 months before the wedding. And just like that, the last piece clicked into place. This wasn't about space. It wasn't about fear. It wasn't about pressure or stress or second thoughts. Sarah had been seeing Leo for months behind my back. And when things got too real, when the wedding was right in front of her, she panicked. She didn't want to marry me, but she didn't want to be the bad guy either. So she tried to flip the story. She tried to make me into a monster while hiding her own mess under the rug. I called her. She didn't answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. So I did the one thing I hadn't done yet. I went back to the apartment. I still had keys. The place was a mess. Clothes everywhere. Half-packed boxes. A few wine bottles on the counter. On the fridge, there was still the save-the-date magnet with our faces. I ripped it off and threw it in the trash. Then I saw her phone charging on the kitchen table. And next to it, her laptop. Logged in. I shouldn't have touched it. I know that. But I did. There were emails. Drafts. Some to my HR, pretending to be concerned friends. Others to her family, explaining how she was being emotionally blackmailed. And one email was to a lawyer. She was exploring whether she could sue me for emotional distress over a broken engagement. I shut the laptop. My heart was pounding. This wasn't just a messy breakup. This was a campaign. A full-blown war she was trying to start. And the scariest part? If Leo hadn't said something, I might have never known the truth. She was rewriting the whole story while I was outliving it. So I took pictures. I documented everything. Every email. Every draft. I backed it all up. Then I left her a note. You wanted space. You got a whole continent. You wanted to lie? Now I know everything. And I'm not playing anymore. I left the keys on the table. Walked out. Closed the door behind me. But I knew this wasn't over. Not yet. It happened on a Saturday. 3 weeks after I'd discovered the emails. 3 weeks of silence between Sarah and me. I thought maybe she'd go dark for good. Maybe she'd crawl into the mess she made and stay there. But instead, she reached out. Sarah, let's talk. One time. Face to face. No games. I owe you that much. I almost didn't reply. I stared at the message for an hour. Part of me wanted to delete it and block her for good. But another part, the stubborn one, wanted answers. Wanted to see her try and lie to my face after everything. So I said yes. We agreed to meet at the Riverwalk near Wabash, where we used to grab coffee on lazy Sundays. It was crowded that day. Tourists. Joggers. Families. The kind of busy that makes everything feel smaller. I spotted her right away, sitting on a bench facing the water. She looked nervous. No makeup. Hair tied up. Hoodie and jeans. She looked real. For the first time in a while. I sat down next to her, keeping a few inches of distance. Neither of us spoke at first. Just the sounds of the river and the murmurs of the city. Then she looked at me. I messed up, she said. I didn't respond. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I didn't even know what I was doing. I panicked. And I lied. Still, I didn't speak. I just waited. I started seeing Leo because I was scared, she continued. We were getting married, and I couldn't stop thinking about everything I hadn't done yet. I felt trapped, not because of you, because of me. I turned to her. Then why lie? Why humiliate me? Why make me out to be some kind of monster to my job, my friends, my family? Her eyes welled up. Because I couldn't handle being the villain. I thought if I painted you as cold, it would make it easier for everyone to accept that the wedding was off. That I could live with it. But then it just spiraled. You filed complaints against me, I said. My voice was low but sharp. You tried to ruin my reputation because you cheated. I know, she whispered. And I hate myself for it. There was a long pause. Then she pulled something from her pocket. A printed photo. Our engagement picture. This one wasn't ripped or scribbled on. It was just us. Smiling. Happy. I carry this every day now, she said. Not because I want to fix things. I know I can't. But because I need to remember what I destroyed. I stood up. My hands were shaking, and I didn't even know why. People around us were watching now. Not everyone, But enough. A woman nearby paused mid-sip of her coffee. A jogger slowed down. An older man on the next bench looked over his newspaper. I looked at Sarah. You didn't just destroy a wedding, Sarah. You destroyed a person. You made me question every part of myself. You made me feel like a fool. She stood too. I know. And I'm sorry. I swear I never meant to hurt you this much. You didn't just hurt me. I said, louder now. You dragged people into it. You called my mom. You tried to sue me. You faked emails. You told people I was abusive. She started to cry. Real tears this time. Not dramatic, not forced. Just quiet, pitiful crying. The kind that makes your chest ache even when you don't want to feel a thing. And then, to my surprise, someone clapped. It was the old man with the newspaper. He clapped once. Then again. And then he said, loud and clear, good for you, kid. Don't let anyone rewrite your story. Sarah's face crumpled. She turned and walked away. Just like that. No dramatic goodbye. No begging. Just her walking down the river walk, hugging that photo, vanishing into the crowd. I stood there for a few more minutes, unsure what I felt. Relief? Sadness? Rage? Maybe all of it. That night, I went back to Greg's place. He was on the couch eating pizza, watching reruns. He looked up. You good? No, I said. But I will be. He nodded. You know you handled that like a damn adult, right? I don't feel like one. That's how you know you are one. I laughed a little. I didn't cry. I didn't drink. I just sat there, letting the quiet settle over me like a blanket. Sarah never tried to contact me again after that day. Leo quit his job and moved to Denver, according to mutual friends. My HR department closed the complaint. My family apologized for ever doubting me. But the damage stuck around longer than anyone expected. I don't trust as easily now. I double-check everything. I keep receipts. I think twice before opening up. But I also learned something about myself, about strength, about setting boundaries, about walking away from people who want to burn the house down and make you hold the match. I don't hate Sarah anymore. That would mean I still feel something. I'm not sure I do. And yeah, sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I never gave her the space she asked for. But then I remind myself, people who love you don't need space when you're 2 weeks away from forever. I never got the wedding I planned, but I got something better. I got free.